Okay. It's cool.
It's cool.
It's all good. Not to have no and I think we got it. I think we are live. Let me make sure that I don't have sound repeating. What's up, family? What's up?
What?
Happy
Oh,
Sunday. Happy Sunday. We are here.
peace.
We are live. Let me take a moment to share, and Sierra, if you are on YouTube and you have the capability to share, definitely do that. And I hope that you are able to be in the chat because I want people to be able to have access to your YouTube page rather quickly. But yes, y'all, Sacred Sister Talks. Sacred Sister Circle Talks. And like Sierra just said, we are here. We're here for it. And listen, there are a lot of y'all in the chat, which whom I love. Y'all next. Y'all are next.
She's coming for you.
I'm coming for you. I am coming for you. It's so magical. I'm so excited to be able to do this. Spirit just be working things out. Like I can't even explain how Spirit just kind of puts things into play and just makes things happen. But I'm so grateful to be a vessel for it. Usually I would like to play a song before starting something like this.
Oh, yeah.
But since there's always these YouTube
haters,
copyright stuff going on. Before we get into it, Sierra, tell the family what's the song that's been on your mind recently.
Whew, let's see. That's good. That's good. Let me see. Because I was just playing this song that has been so good. It's actually called Lakshmi. I was blasting it right before you and I got on Zoom. And it's called Lakshmi. And it's by this Hindi artist, this woman, and this DJ. So it's like really vibey, but it's mantras. It's all mantras. So it's called Lakshmi, and her name is Marty Nico and DJ Drez.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find that. Can that be found on like Apple Music and things like that? Apple Music.
The whole album. The album is called Dreaming in Sanskrit.
Dreaming in Sanskrit.
I mean, how fitting for this
album. Yes, I love
Dreaming in Sanskrit, that album has been on repeat, replay, bumping, because we all love our mantras and they bring us to those higher realms, but like it can get a little dry.
Yes,
a little dry sometimes.
Yes,
the music is fire. You feel it in your blood, in your bones. You want to move. You want to dance while you're getting into these mantras.
Absolutely.
So this is the wave I've been on. Yeah,
absolutely. I love it. Y'all know I've been on Closer to My Dream, so still listening to that, still powering up from that. I'm definitely going to check out the Lakshmi though. Before we jump into it, let me say what's up to the people in the chat. What's up, Hathor? What's up, Tangela, Jeff, or Hefe? It's all love if I messed up your name. CNC Music, Goddess B, Medicine of Dreams. Sierra is Medicine of Dreams for y'all who are in the chat right now. Medicine of Dreams is Sierra, so y'all want to click on her name, go to her channel, make sure you subscribe. Latoya, Erica, Dream, what's up, babe? Love y'all. Go ahead and take a moment to share this video because this is about to be a powerful build. I just know it. When you just in alignment with Spirit,
when you know. When you know.
So I just want to tell the family what's happening right now, what I'm creating and what I'm doing. So I've mentioned it before. I'm starting a community for spiritual women, for us to heal together, for us to connect, and for us to serve. And I'm so excited about it. It's going to be dropping January 2022, right? And so leading up to that, I want to showcase to the family the work that I do with the women that I do it with, and really, and it's a cricket in here. Okay, we're bringing in good luck and fortune.
Oh,
Just don't land on me, bro. Just don't.
Let me tell you about my history with crickets.
Girl, tell me real quick.
Real quick, 10 seconds. Last year, when I was my little cabin, I had a house when I was living in Costa Rica. There was this little cricket who was living rent free for about a month. Mm-hmm. And every time I went to go take a shower, he would follow me into the shower. It's just like, I just want to make sure you're good in here. I just want to make sure. I love you're soaking up these. I kid you not, for like a month, 2 months straight, this little cricket, every time I went to the shower.
Okay, bring on in the spiritual energy. Hold on, because I'm gonna share my screen because I just want to research cricket real quick because this is the things that I like to do.
Do it.
Cricket. Can y'all? That ain't how you spell cricket. Hold on. Cricket, spiritual. Well, let's put spirit animal or spiritual energy, whatever. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The cricket is finding your soul song, the music that empowers you to speak your truth with conviction.
Okay.
Come on. We entered the room talking about music, the songs. So what we're getting right now spiritually, this is what's happening based off everything that is taking place right now. Don't take nothing for granted. Based off of everything that is taking place right now, what we are receiving is Lakshmi, abundance, fortune, because we just talked about music, abundance and fortune. And we're talking about getting closer to our dreams, to the full manifestation of who we truly are. And we're also talking about that when the sacred sister circle drops, January 2022, when you getting your New Year's resolutions together, ladies, and you like, I'm ready to build with spiritual women, we are talking about creating a space of abundance where you get to speak your truth, where you get to embrace change, where you get to heal, where you get to focus. Let's look at this. Change, communication, connection. What did I just say? The sacred sister circle is to heal, connect, and serve. It is good luck, leaping forward, intuition, inner voice, happiness, pleasure, positive outcomes, power of song. Y'all know I will get on here and sing a song any day. Okay. Y'all already know how I am. Psychic ability, satisfaction, self-expression, vibrational energies. These are all things that I'm creating for the ladies. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have you on here, Sierra.
Girl,
thank you for being here with me.
This is my
girl. We knew this day would come. I knew when I first met you in our session, I was like, oh, well, I'm glad to be of support to you. But I told you in the beginning, you were definitely giving me something. Every time we talked, every time we had a session, you were blessing my life.
Wow.
It was so beautiful. Like, I'm going to get all into it. Let me just finish this. So Sacred Sister Circle is coming January 2022. And what I'm doing now is bringing on women who I've coached, I've consulted with, maybe they're Patreon members, women who I have made a spiritual connection with, who I just feel that their voices need to be heard. And we get to just do this divine feminine thing, because I truly know within my heart that when we as women heal, when we connect with one another, when we create our tribes, and when we serve in our purpose, this is how the world actually changes. This is how our world changes. And this is how we change the people who are closest to us. And so I want to take these couple of months, and this is something that's going to continue even after January 2022, but I just want to take this time to honor women like yourself, like we did with Iman a couple of weeks ago. I just want to take this time to honor y'all and to talk about healing, talk about why our connection is so powerful, talk about y'all living in y'all's purpose and me living in mine. So it's just a powerful thing. So whenever y'all see Sacred Sister Circle talks, just know that we are some powerful women talking about some spiritual stuff that is so necessary. And so I'm excited to do it, right? I'm excited to do it. So thank everybody who is already here, who is already in the chat, who has already said what's up, who has already said hello. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I look forward to working with y'all. If we haven't worked together on a personal level, I look forward to getting there. Now, Sierra.
Yes.
I want you to remind me of what your experience in coaching with me being your coach, me supporting you in your healing. What was that experience like for you, and how has it supported you in really letting your light shine right now?
Do the people have time?
They got some time today, sis.
Let me get right to the core of it. So I found D-Ray about a year ago, through Dream, Masterly, Foolish, that whole tribe. And the first time I saw D-Ray on YouTube, I was just like, hold up. Like, I sat up straight a little bit. I'm like, who is this goddess? Like, that's my sister. Mm-hmm. And, life happened, whatever happened. And about, what would it be? Like 3 months now. 3 mm-hmm. months ago, I had another near-death experience. Mm. Now we're going to get back into the previous ones because they kind of shaped the whole story. Yeah. But I had a near-death experience in the ocean. I'm here in Mexico. I had a near-death experience in the ocean. And, that unlocked and unwrapped so much for me. And the goddess was really trying to get me to focus. That was the main thing. Like, she wasn't trying to hurt or harm, but get me to focus. Mm-hmm. That same afternoon, me trying to process everything, like, hold on, wait, I'm still in my form. I'm still in my body. I'm still here. Mm-hmm. I go on YouTube, and D-Ray had done a live earlier that day. So I'm rewatching the live. And at the end, she let me know if you can hear me. There's a little construction in the back.
We can hear you good. I can.
Okay. So I'm tuning into her video, and I'm just like, still, this is my sister. Like, I don't know. And then at the end, she's like, and if you need that consultation, I'm here for you. And I was just like, I'm still alive, so I'm about to get this work.
Yeah.
It was that push of like, I'm alive, so I'm gonna go towards what feels right. So I reached out to D-Ray. We had our 15-minute consultation. The first consultation, I wasn't even on camera because a lot of things were going on in the background. It was just like us having a phone call. Immediately connection, immediately resonance. We're talking this or that, and we're about to get off the call. And she stops me, and she's just like, hold on, Spirit has a message for you, Sierra. And I'm like, okay. She's like, Spirit said, don't be afraid to commit. And I was like, oh, so you're just going to start snatching my soul right now.
What? And that's funny. I don't even remember that, but that's amazing that you do.
That's the thing. It's like these things. That's how you know it's Spirit, because you wouldn't remember. It came through. Yeah. So that snatched my soul on so many levels. 2 days later, we're working together. We're in our 6-week container. It begins. I'm like, there's no time to waste. When it resonates, you go for it. Like, we spend so much time wasting time that we're wasting away. Mm-hmm. So 2 days later, we hop into it. We see each other for the first time, and we're just like, oh, sis.
Yeah. Instant love. I'm like, I know you already.
Instant love, instant warmth, instant connection. And then even that first call, she's just like, so do you want to like kind of take it easy? And like, we could talk about, simple things. And I was like, nah, let's dive in. I don't do simple stuff.
Yeah.
So we dive in, and my intention with working with her was to get a stronger foundation in my spiritual business. Because her and Dream, they're doing it. So you go to the people who are doing it, not the people who think they can help you. You go to the ones who have mastered it already. Mm-hmm. So my intention with her was to gain a greater foundation in my spiritual business. How do I execute? How do I implement? How do I, get past these blocks that I have? Meanwhile, we didn't get into business until about week 5, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because week 1 through 4 was going back to childhood stuff, stories that I was still carrying around that I thought I had transmuted. Because mind you, this is me over 10 years doing this work. Mm-hmm. This is me, several experiences that shifted paradigms. So I'm like, I have all the tools in my tool belt. But she was going back to storylines, going back to conditionings, going back to things that were still playing in the background of my mind and being reflected in current relationships in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So we did, motherhood healing. We did some sisterhood healing with the way it's perceived. There was one call where we literally were talking about sex and relationships the whole time.
Yeah.
And like the physics of that, the metaphysics of that, like all of it, which then tied right back into the work that I do, which is dreams. So it's just like we were just weaving all over the place.
The dream weaver.
Dream weaving, literally. We were weaving this beautiful dream together. And then, by the end of it, we're finally talking about business again. And I was going on to work with some business people, work with a business coach, a business team. D-Ray was going to do the same thing around the same time.
Yeah.
We're splitting ways, but we're really not, because we're still doing the same work at the same time.
Yeah.
So us working together was heart alchemy. Like there were so many tears cried, ugly tears, mascara, blush all over the place, looking a hot mess, but holding each other, like. And one of our last calls, I'm like crying because of a breakthrough that I had with a friend of mine who I was supposed to just discard the friendship entirely because I was just like, I don't know, I'm getting parasite vibes. But D-Ray bringing me into a space of meditation and speaking to her, which inadvertently was me speaking to me. Mm-hmm. Then in real life, I ended up having that conversation with her, and so much healing took place. And then I shared the experience with D-Ray, and she was just like, now you heal the deeper layer of your ego. Now you heal a friendship that you would have discarded. And above all, now you know that love is real and it's possible with sisters. With the sisters, like, love is possible. And even more mascara, runny tears. And I'm just like, oh my God, it is possible. Like, sisterhood love is that thing that is, nothing else matches it. Nothing else nourishes you the way it does. So our time working together has been such a journey. And I'm just so grateful that beyond the work, we found our sisterhood and our bond. And we came back together because, like we said, we were in the forest somewhere in past lives, playing music with the trees, dancing. So this is
100%
another round for us,
100%. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'm telling you, it was so magical for me. And one thing that I love and admire about you is your ability to tell stories through visuals. Like every time you were talking to me and telling me stories, I could see everything just playing out so beautifully. Like when we talked about your near-death experience, I was at the ocean with you energetically and spiritually because the way you were able to weave things and eloquently speak things. How did you tap into that power of imagery and vision and being able to see like that and being able to really translate what you see? Like, I mean, it's a beautiful, and I know it has to do with the dream work that you do, because dreams are stories told in pictures. And you have such a beautiful ability to do that. So did that come from a childhood upbringing, a childhood experience? Is it just soul work? Tell me about it.
Oh, it's just like I always say, my life, the Sierra that you see in front of you is just like the dreams. It's layered. And it seems like it's all these random things happening, all these random parts of me, but they all weave together. They're all intentional. So it's a million things. It's the upbringing that I have, and maybe not being seen or nurtured from those parental figures. So me going inside and creating this imagination in this fantasy world. It's the fact that at 8 years old, and we'll get into this deeper if we're led that way, but at 8 years old, the fact that it wasn't a near-death experience, it was a death experience. I, flatlined. I went to the other side for several minutes. I came back. I'm alive to tell the story. So I feel like I came back with a sight. I came back with a knowing. I came back with a sense that I couldn't necessarily learn in this life. I couldn't necessarily read a book and activate it. I couldn't necessarily sit at the feet of a teacher and get that skill, but I feel like it was something I had to leave. Let me go pick that up real quick, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna have it.
Yeah.
Because ever since I was young, going back into dreams, ever since I was young, I've gone up to strangers, friends, family. So tell me about your dreams. So have you ever had a dream? Hey, when you're dreaming, do you ever just, that's always been my thing. It's always been my thing. And I thought it was something that everyone did. Everyone was super curious about dreams. Everyone, you know, would try to like plant stuff before they would go to sleep so that they can find it. And then I grew up and it's like, no.
You're a hot commodity. Like, no, it's not.
Like, no, people aren't out here doing this here. So there's people who come to me today, people who are, I would still call them sleeper cells, but just me simply having the curiosity and excitement about it, they still come back to me and they're just like, you know, Sierra, you're the only person who I've ever talked to about my dreams, you know? And these are like 9 to 5, you know, people. So, you know, it was that experience. It was, of course, the environment that I grew up in. And then it was just like my innate curiosity for life. I'm just curious about life itself. So that's led me everywhere. That's led me from, you know, dark nightclubs in Brooklyn, like getting it in. That's led me to, you know, Nepal, studying with monks in the Himalayas. That's led me to rainforests in the Middle East and, you know, to all these different places, just trying to figure out, what am I really seeing and experiencing here? And beyond that, what's the common thread that's weaving it all together? What is the thing that's connecting the experience I'm having, you know, jumping up and down in the club versus the experience that I'm having sitting on a mountaintop? What is the theme? So I feel like my mind has always worked trying to figure out themes, patterns, and seeing the connecting strand of it all. And me being such like an acute student, and watching those things so intently, this is why I can articulate it. You know? And that's not everyone. That's combined with the artistry and the poetry and, you know, even my astrology. It's combined with those things because there's a lot of beautiful scientific intellectual minds, but they can't bring you into it, wrap you into it the way that I see that I can now. So it's the combination and the balance that I found between the left brain, the right brain, between the mind, the heart, the soul. It's just me trying to find the common denominator in it all, finding it, and then being like, here's the thing. Where I feel like I can speak to and connect with such a range of people, you know? Like I can talk to the intellects, I can talk to the spiritualists, I can talk to the babies, I can talk to the elders who are still in their religious ways. Because I'm just, don't you see that there's a theme? Don't you see that there's a seed in it all? So yeah, I hope that kind of touched on what you were.
That makes absolute perfect sense. And I think that is so beautiful to be a true observer of life, you know, and because I'm that type of way. I've always been that type of way. I was the type of girl, Sierra, that if I'm in a party with friends, and let's say we getting high, we drinking, we doing all of this, I'm the type of person that is so tuned into what's going on. I'm like, do y'all not feel what's happening here? I'm like, I can put together all of these spiritual pieces. I'm like, he said that, then she did that. This is all something spiritual happening. And I used to get shunned for that. I used to be like, girl, why you killing the vibe? That's too deep. That's too much. We ain't trying to be talking about all of that. I'm like, so y'all are telling me that y'all don't see this, but they didn't. They didn't. They don't.
That's big. It took me a long time and a lot of like, to really get that. They just don't see it.
They don't see it.
It's nothing to be mad at.
It was so miraculous. To me, it was so amazing seeing spirit at play like that. Like to me, it was just like, and then I see Mook in here. What's up, Mook? Mook is another person. We be talking. We be like, did you see that spirit? Girl, spirits just be like, it's just a big puzzle. And you're connecting the pieces.
Yes, you're connecting the pieces
You're connecting the pieces to this amazing puzzle. Let me
Yes.
ask you this here, because let me tell you, I've always been a dreamer too. Like
Mhm.
dream. We wake up in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, how was your night?" I'm like, "I had some dreams." I'm like, I always dream. I never not have dreams. Like
Yep.
I dream. And if you don't dream, go get the dream supplement. Go ahead and get it. Actually, we are relaunching it or really launching it officially coming up soon. So stay tuned, stay close to your emails. Make sure that you are signed up to Dream's email list, okay? So I've always been able to dream. I've always been able to dream. But I recognize a few things that I want you to touch on. I recognize
Mhm.
that, like right now, being pregnant, I have like my
Ooh,
dream, like they just nonstop. Like if I
girl.
if I fall asleep for 5 minutes, I'm in a dream. I recognize that when I sleep on my back, this is when more of the and here's the amazing part. The amazing part is that I'm no longer in a state of fear, but when I sleep on my back, I realize some of the traumas or certain experiences that I've had or that I don't want to have. I realize that some of those come up.
Mhm.
What is it that causes us to start to have more dreams? And what is it that causes us to have dreams that could be frightening, that could be horror, that could be nightmares? What is the thing that triggers that within us?
So the first thing, well, first I want to touch on the whole pregnancy thing because I have
Mhm.
friends that I don't have babies, but I have
Yeah,
friends who have had babies. And of course, me being the dreamy one, being the dream weaver, they all come to me when they're pregnant. They always come to me because the dreams always heighten when they're pregnant.
yeah,
They become
yeah.
more, these are people who for years couldn't even remember their dreams. Now they're pregnant and they're like, I'm like traveling space-time dimension. I'm seeing like 12 moons. And these are people who were not into that at all.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm just like, you have the seed inside of you. You
mhm,
have the cosmic essence of it all blooming and growing inside of you. You have the seed of dreams itself. That child
mm,
inside of you is the essence of a dream. You and the
mm,
partner got together, even if it wasn't intentional, your physiological bodies, your etheric and your spiritual bodies, they're like, hey, I have a dream. Hey, I have a dream. Let's come together and create this dream. This
uh-huh,
child inside of you. So
mhm,
you're housing the essence of dreams itself. So as
mm,
that's growing inside of you, your multi-dimensionalism, making up
mhm,
words, is going to grow and expand, and your dreams are going to be crazy because you're housing
mhm,
the seed of it. Your the seed
mhm,
of dreams.
that makes
Now
sense.
going back to why dreams show up certain ways, why you may have pleasurable dreams, why you may have scary dreams. Again, it's layered. It's so many things because I see dream world as a world, not as a thing
Mhm,
that we go do. It's a place
mm,
it's an existence that we're experiencing.
mm.
So if you're having dreams and you're having nightmares and you feel like you're on the run and you're this or that, you need to check it on all fronts. Number one, what am I eating? What am I on the most basic level putting in my body? Am I
Mhm.
putting in fat, heavy, greasy, nasty things that my body is even scared that it won't be able to work off? So am I frightening my nervous system? Am I
Mm,
frightening the very basic systems in my body? And that's manifesting on the conscious, subconscious, and dream level. Number one.
mhm.
Number two, what am I also digesting in my portals, in my gates? What am I watching? What am I listening to? Am I,
Yeah.
am I watching Jason 3 times a week to decode it? But then I'm going to sleep and I feel like I'm being chased. I feel like I can't rest. I feel like anxious after I wake up in the morning. What am I ingesting that way?
Mm,
And then going deeper to that, what is your spirit, your soul trying to reflect back to you in the daytime that you keep ignoring?
mm,
Have you not addressed that conversation? And you and me got into this. Have you not addressed that conversation with that friend who you know keeps bringing you distress and dis-ease
mhm,
in
mhm,
your emotions? And now that same scenario, that same person is showing up in your dream space, or it's not that same person, but it's your mother when you were 5 years old yelling at you and doing the same shit that this person is overtly or inadvertently doing. So it's just like, you got to check all bases.
All the levels, all the layers.
What am I putting body? What am I putting mind? What am I putting spirit? What am I not facing within myself?
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh,
so
yeah, that's good.
The distortions in our dreams, because it's never meant to be scary. And, you know, we see a lot of people out here talking about, oh, they're infiltrating the dream world and they're attacking you in your dream world. And I'm like, who? Where? It's you.
Yeah.
You. And if there is a them, it's you that have created them, because this is your subconscious mind. This is your world. This is your original reality.
Yeah.
And the phrase that I say that's on my website, that's on Instagram, is bridging dream life with real life. But that's really like, just so people can get the gist of it. But it's not even dream life with real life, because what is real life? I say real life as this waking life. D-Ray and I and the Soul family are on YouTube right now. We would call this the real life, the waking life. But this is just a perception. And the dream life is also a perception. But I would say that's the more real life. That's the more reality of it. Because we're not limited by time, space, form, by these man-made laws in the dream space. And if you start to notice that these laws in this land are infiltrating that dream space, that's when you really have something to worry about. You know, like last year, for example, there was a brief period of time in Costa Rica where I was living. A friend and I, we got a place together on the beach. We lived together for a little bit, and he was, you know, like he was I don't know, like a normal person. Like he wasn't hyper spiritual. He was a, you know, a sleeper cell, more or less.
Right.
Whatever, he's fun. Like, I don't care. Now, he was being infiltrated by all the exterior COVID stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're in Costa Rica, living it up, living in paradise. That shit wasn't even existing in our reality. But he would phone home to the United States, and his mom would call him and like, oh my God, worry, concern. Then he'd talk to his brother, who's a nurse. Oh my God, the hospitals. So then he would allow his mind, his energy field, to be infiltrated by these things. And then what happened? Then, of course, he would always talk to me about his dreams every day. He'd be like, oh my God, I had a dream. I was going to the store and I forgot my mask.
Yeah.
You're a mask in your dream world, in the space where there's no law, there's no time, there's no space, there's none of these bullshit restrictions that are made up here. You're dreaming that in your world now. That's when you've been infiltrated, because you've allowed yourself to be, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So
that makes sense. And you know what? For me, I get a lot of transmissions and downloads in dreams. And that's because I am a Pisces moon, right?
Oh.
So we're talking a lot of watery energy, a lot of dreamy energy. Dreams are, I had a lot of dreams about baby Kim that let me know that I didn't want to believe it in the moment, but what was happening in the dreams, it couldn't have been a boy, even though I wanted it to. I was in my mind, oh, boy. But the dreams that I was seeing that were pertaining to me being pregnant were saying, no, this is not a boy. You need to get rid of that. But another thing, for example, y'all know all of these abortion laws that are going around, right? And abortion being banned. And the night before last, I had a dream that I was at an abortion clinic. Not like a traditional one where people are standing out, like it was like a down low thing. So basically I had a dream foreseeing what is happening, what's going to be coming in the future, basically. And so there was this Black woman basically and a whole bunch of women there drinking this specific type of tea and sticking something up in their vaginas that would cause them to abort a child. So for me, I'm like, oh, wow. So in that instance of the dream, I was like, okay, that doesn't necessarily apply to me, but I know that this is what's about to be happening. Because just because these people ban something doesn't mean that people are not going to find a way. And so what is it that allows people like myself to be able to have these premonitions, to be able to have these understandings of the human world and get those downloads in the dream world? Is it something that, am I special, or is it something that anybody can do if they tap in? Do you know?
Number one, yes, you are special because I love you.
You're so timely. You are so timely.
but for real, it's not a special thing. It's an original thing. It's a this is what we were created to do thing. It's that we've been fucking brainwashed, mind swiped, mind wiped to think that this stuff is abnormal, and it's not. Everything that I do, everything that I've studied, everyone that I work with, is to get back to the originality of it all.
Yeah.
Which is that we are cosmic beings, that we are not as dense as we've been living and believing that we are. It's that we are multidimensional. And you can have these premonitions because many of us know that time is not linear. It doesn't move like this.
Yeah.
Time is it's a spiral.
Yeah.
It's constantly moving. Actually, I made a video about this recently about time loops and cycles. So let's say this is time, this is the center.
Yeah.
And we're coming around, we're coming around. We're at the exact same point that we were here. We're just further out from the center, but it's still the same energy because it's the same point further out. So we still have the same capabilities to tap into that energy. We just have to remember the center again, right? So going back and having these premonitions or whatever, it's really you just being light enough to go explore that time.
Yeah.
So if you're in the dream world and you're foreseeing something that's going to happen, it's not that you foresaw it, you just went there.
Yeah.
You just into that time. I've had so many dreams like that. I've had dreams where I was told to move from where I was living because it wouldn't be a good place if a earthquake were to happen. 2 weeks later, I moved. 2 weeks later, that earthquake happened. If I was where I was before, it wouldn't have been great. So it is foreseeing, but it's also just being like, oh, let me go here so I have this.
Let me visit that time. Let me visit that place.
Let me go, exactly. Let me go to that time and space so that once I come back to this quote unquote now, I'm prepared.
Right. Gotcha.
Astral travel that so many people are curious about. This is the astral travel. Like you just tune into that lighter part of you. That part of you that's formless, that's not dense. And can just kind of Casper the Ghost its way around,
Right. And see, I love that because that's what I do in my meditations. Like mostly all of my clients, we get to do an inner child time traveling meditation. And I lighten myself. I love it so much. I love it so much because when you take me to a place as a client like you have, I'm there with you. I am there with you. I'm like, oh shit, I'm really here. I can see it all. I can hear it all. I am literally there with my client. And so what you're saying right now is so true. And we don't have to be asleep to do it. We can do it while we are awake as well. But talk to us about when we travel back in time, right? Because I've also had dreams, where I'm it's not even me, but it's also like I'm observing somebody else's life. Like dreams are so much dreams are a lot for me, and I love it in a beautiful way. But there's been times where I done backtracked to like Jim Crow time, like slave time, like times like that. And I'm there and I'm simply observing what's happening. Like I'm seeing a Black girl with a long, and here's the thing, this could be something that I'm seeing based off a movie that I watched the day before. You know what I mean? Because I know that my mind will do that too. If I'm invested into something that I'm watching really heavily, if I'm really into it, I'll dream about that thing. I'll dream about it and But fortunately, when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I know why that came, because what I just watched, right?
Yeah.
So what about traveling backwards in time? Do people visit past lives in dreams? Can we observe other people, in dreams? What is it about traveling back in the dream space?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing I want to touch on is, like you mentioned, our subconscious mind is the most porous thing. Like I always say, the subconscious mind is the master computer. It's the supercomputer in this dimension that we have. So it's always collecting data. There's no way to turn it off. There's no way to be like, okay, subconscious, I'm gonna have you chill today, like take the day off. Like master computer, like always collecting data.
Yeah.
Now, to supersede that would be to tap into the superconscious mind, aka the soul, aka that part of you that is created, that is attached and connected to the original creative all, to God, to that original source. That's the only way to override or to put something in front of the subconscious mind. And the way we see this in our dreams is, if you're watching American Horror Story or whatever, and then you're having a dream that felt like the show that you were watching, and then you wake up and it's like, this seems familiar. And then you remember, oh yeah, I was watching that show because it feels the same. The pieces fit together. Now, if you are having a dream and it doesn't feel like anything that you had in this experience, but it feels like it's of importance, that's when you know that you're traveling somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not influenced by your external world, because there's there's no piece for it to fit into.
The puzzle.
There's no puzzle piece for it to fit into, right? So if you're traveling and you're having these experiences, you haven't watched anything or nothing has really denoted you going back to slave times or anything, but you're traveling back to
slaves running. I'm like, what? I wasn't just watching 10 Years a Slave or whatever that movie was.
That is your astral self or your soul or whatever part of yourself, because you're going to have to identify it. What part of me needed to go there to see that? Was it my emotional body that still is being triggered by something that I need to heal? So I needed to have that really overt traumatic travel for me to feel something emotionally. Is there still a belief lingering in my mind that hasn't fully phased its way out? So I needed to go have that experience. Or, which is a lot of times the case with people who are healers, with people who are mystics, with people who are just cosmic as hell, is that we travel to these places to transform them. And you may not have done anything. You may have literally, like you said, just been remote viewing it all. But the fact that your consciousness, your soul decided to go to that space, you're bringing something new into that space. You're bringing something new into that timeline. So
girl, you better talk.
That doesn't mean that you're...
I love you.
Mean that by your astral self traveling back to 1822, that you're alone going to eradicate slavery. But I feel my crown buzzing. But you traveling, taking your astral conscious and soul self back to that space and time, you are shifting the energy, which means what? That as the timeline moves forward, that impact, that trauma is going to be less imprinted on the people who are here today, because you went back. And shifted the energy of that timeline. So again, it's always about pinpointing what it is for you presently, which is why dream work and dream study is so important. Because it's like, is it a conscious thing? Is it a physiological thing? Is it a metaphysical thing? Is it there's all these layers, but when you know, and don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself.
For example, I was working at a high school, and there was this student who was so toxic. He was a toxic young man, and he was so like, I did not understand why he was so toxic. And in the dream space, I was a fly on the wall, no bullshit. I became a fly on the wall. I'm like, what am I doing here? In my dream. And I see my student being molested by a man, a boy. I see this boy being molested by an older man. I'm just a fly on the wall. And immediately when I woke up, I was like, thank you, Spirit. Now I get it. So now as I'm engaging with this student, I can be more empathetic, more compassionate, more patient, because I understand that his behavior comes from him being traumatized, him being abused.
Yes.
So I think for me, like you always say, that curiosity, for me, really that inquisitive spirit, because as a healer, I was just like, why? Because I'm used to being able to break through to people and be like, what's going on? And say something to them that triggers them to be like, okay, maybe I'm tripping. But for this specific student, I could not get through to him. And I really was like, you know what? I'm not even going to force trying to get through to him. But I wanted to know, I genuinely wanted to know, where did this type of spirit come from? And I'm in the dream and I'm literally just a spirit, a fly on the wall, an energy in the room observing this happen to this boy.
Remote viewing. Yeah.
Remote viewing. And at the time when that happened, because that was a couple of years ago, I didn't even know that I was remote viewing. How does a person do that? Is that something, because like for me, I did not intentionally say, I don't remember. Let me just say, I don't remember going to bed and saying, you know, show me more about this kid. What do I need to know about him? I don't remember doing that, but that happened. And I guess it happened from that space of purity and truly wanting to know. But talk to me more about remote viewing and how people can be, because that's kind of scary too, because people be trying to see all up into your shit.
Yeah.
So talk to me about remote viewing.
So two things just came up. The first thing is, I'm not sure if the Soul family of you guys saw that build with Brother Panic, Dr. Phil Valentine, Black Magic, you know. But
saw a little bit of it.
But Dr. Valentine got into something. They were talking about the ancestors, and I think Black Magic asked, why is it that we pay homage to the ancestors, but in this life we have beef, like we can't get along with them? Like, why is that? We, you know, praise the ancestors in the afterlife, but when we're living here together, it's problems. And everyone, you know, gave their insight, but Dr. Valentine touched on something that ties right back into this. It's because we need that agitation of our spirit in order to express. We need agitation and that disruption in our mind and our emotional bodies in order for us to learn something new, do something new, move into new spaces, and elevate, grow, and expand. Now, I want to bring that back to the dreams, because it's the exact same thing. In this real life, you had a connection with this boy. And you were used to showing up as a divine goddess, feminine that you are, and it's like, I see what the issue is here, and I'm going to help you heal it, you know, overtly or inadvertently. But this spirit was so burdened and so hard, and so closed off, not porous at all. There was no way to get in. You know?
No way.
Emotional, nothing, closed off. And his spirit was so agitated and hurting that all he knew how to do was cement himself, close off, no pores. And your spirit was agitated because you're like, how can I not find a way?
Right.
So thinking about this or subconsciously thinking about this, there was an agitation on both ends. Yeah. Vibrating at agitation energy. Once you entered the astral space where his spirit always is, because that's the only safe haven, you remote viewed, aka turned to the channel of him, because his channel was open in the astral. Because he would never tell you that story in real life.
Right.
He doesn't tell himself that story in real life.
Right.
On the astral plane, he's sad, open, someone please help. Someone please see.
Like the movie Soul, those big old blobs. Did you see Soul?
Yes. Oh my God.
Those big old astral blobs. You know what I mean? You can't miss them.
His little astral blob was there. So you turned to his channel because his channel was just like, hey, and that's why you were able to go see it. Yeah. So that is you, again, being able to see that, bringing a new energy to his circumstance. And beyond that's you showing you that I have the ability to do this now. So maybe it's to look into further and try to cultivate, understand the science of it.
Right.
And B, it's showing that like you really can tap into and tune into these things in one way or another. It's not always going to be on the physical that we're going to affect people.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I'm doing like deep work for, they're not coming to my face and be like, thank you for this meditation and this dream reading, Sierra. I'm meeting them on the astral and they're letting me know what's good. And then in fact, sometimes when people would be like, I saw you in the astral and this happened. And I'm just like, okay, good. My soul's doing what I know it can. And we're receptive to it, you know?
Yeah.
So when we're remote viewing and seeing these things, it's us flexing that muscle within ourselves, because that's the thing that's going to be important. And I kind of wanted to touch into this. I think this is a good segue.
Go for it. Yeah.
Is the show, the OA. If you were the Soul Family saw the show, the OA.
I feel like I know what that is. I feel like I do.
So
go ahead.
It's about near-death experiences, and this girl, she's like deaf, I want to say. But anyways, it goes into near-death experiences. But season 2, they very subtly and sneakily touch on dreams. And this is how I know a wave is coming. And this is why us, the original cosmic people, needs to be ahead of the curve. Because dreams is one of the last, I promise you, one of the last untapped power sources that we still have, but we don't know that we have. Because they've infiltrated, the chakras, they've infiltrated the, astrology, they've infiltrated numerology, they've infiltrated all these systems that we had originally, but they don't even understand the power of dreams, but it's still DNA to unlock. So going to the OA season 2, they very sneakily and subtly show that they're going to start trying to study our dreams, the original cosmic people. Because they know that inside of us, we have not only the keys, but also the doors. So the greater, understanding that they have of dreams and how they really work inside of us, then they know that they can shape this dream out here much more effectively.
Yeah.
Everything that they're trying to do now is on subliminal levels and on systemization and, what we intake, it's all external. The way they're trying to from the outside. Right. If they can really grasp their dreams the way our ancestors did, the way we knew that this medicine, then they can infiltrate this system, this structure, this waking reality from the inside out. And that's the part that they haven't figured out yet. So us gaining mastery of our dreams is not just like, dope, I know how to astral travel now. This is preparation. This is for war on this plane. And beyond that, this preparation so that you know what the hell to do when you're out of this body.
Yes.
You know where to go. You know the terrain of the astral plane. Because half of us don't even know, 6 blocks past the neighborhood that we live in. You can in the astral plane when you're not in a form anymore. This is the ground. We need to understand our dreams. We need to understand how these keys work, how these doors work, and how to navigate these astral realms beyond what they want to try to do. This is about us, So I just wanted to touch on that. If you guys didn't see OA, I definitely recommend check that out afterwards.
I have to go back and check that out because it definitely sounds familiar. We love watching things like that. But go ahead and tell the family what it is that you do and where they can find you at. Let's go ahead and do that really quickly while we're kind of halfway into it. Go ahead and tell the family more about you, the work that you do.
All right. So again, I'm Sierra, Flor. You can call me Flor. You can call me Sierra. And I am a dream weaver. So I essentially bridge this waking life that we're all a part of and the dream world. So that's going to be gaining a deeper understanding of the language of the soul, the language of the subconscious mind, the language of the soul, because it speaks in signs and symbols. We know this, but it's just like, what are these signs and symbols? What do they really mean? What value do they actually hold? So I help people to understand that language so that they can become bridge builders for themselves. Like, what are you creating? What are you dreaming, right? One of my teachers, who is a shaman in Ecuador from the Sabara Nation, he always says that all the answers and all the keys that we're looking for in this world reside in Makihano, the dream world. And all the keys and the answers that we're looking for in the dream world reside in this world. So it's just like, we need to become masters of both realities, of both planes of existence, to be any sort of a sovereign or whole being. So I aid and assist people in becoming sovereign and whole beings through their dreams, you know, understanding both of these spaces completely, understanding the terrains of both and how they work together to make us whole. So I do that through divination, oracle readings, things like that. That's kind of level one. And then going deeper than that, I've created a system of dream archetypes and the layout of the astral plane that we would get into working together, you know, longer. So you can become more acquainted with the astral, figure out what your archetype is, how that's reflected in this world, in the dream world. So yeah, I am a master's student and teacher of dreams. I've done this many, many lifetimes. And yeah, I'm just owning it at this point. And all the teachers that I've worked with in other lifetimes are showing up again in this lifetime, mainly here in Central America and South America. Like, all the teachers are coming back together, remembering. So that's been beautiful. And on Instagram, you can follow me at the.elemistic, ELEMYSTIC. And on YouTube, you can actually type in the Elemistic as well, even though my website and my YouTube is Medicine of Dreams, but YouTube's being weird with like it not showing up. So yeah, Medicine of Dreams is my website, and you can check it out there, you know, find out a little bit more about my story. And yeah, I'm a professional dreamer.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Hold on, I'm typing in Medicine of Dreams. But I love that name in itself. So tell me more about how you came up with Medicine of Dreams.
Woo, Medicine of Dreams. This actually happened while D-Ray and I were working together. Because what I do innately, it has transformed and metamorphosized so much. So originally it was the Elemistic that came in meditation. And I was like, like, I've always been into this mysticism. I've always been into my indigenous roots. Like, this has always been a thing for me. So I'm like, I've always had a vibe, connected with nature. So it's like the element, the mystic, the Elemistic, right? So then that transformed when I finally started working with clients last year. That transformed into the Dreamweaver Academy, because the title Dreamweaver also came to me in a meditation. And it was just like, the work that you're doing, you're a Dreamweaver, like you're weaving it all together. So then even at the beginning of D-Ray and I working together, everything was the Dreamweaver Academy, the Dreamweaver Academy, Dreamweaver Academy. So it's a few weeks into us working together and me just implementing everything that she's sharing, shifting my perspective on everything, and me going inward. And I was literally shown like a visual of a house. And in the house, Dreamweaver Academy, the dream weaving aspect, was just a door, was just a room in the house. And then I zoomed out to see the bigger house, and the house is the medicine of dreams. Medicine is the umbrella. Medicine is the nourishment. It's the food. It's the herbs. It's the it's all the things. It's the full umbrella. So Medicine of Dreams literally came through me peeling away all the stuff that was in the way, which D-Ray and I did together. And then it just revealed itself. Like, the medicine is in the dreams. We keep looking for it here, there, and everywhere else, but it's so simple. It's home. It's in the house. It's in the dreams. It's in that thing that's so universal and really connects us all. And I'm going to say the all by all the people who have souls.
Yeah.
Being here is a soulful being. Not every being here has what we would call a subconscious or a superconscious mind. You know, there's inorganic beings among us. So not every creature here dreams, but every natural being, every soulful being dreams. Now, whether we've mastered those, whether we remember those, that's our responsibility now.
Yeah, yeah.
Our responsibility to find the medicine that we need. So, you know, that's how medicine and dreams came about. And it got the bravo from my ancestors. They 1000% supported it, and they're just like, yeah, yes.
I love it. I love it. So so many things come up. I'm like, which way do I want to go first? But the thing that is most prevalent right now is, tell us about a few, maybe one or two of the archetypes who you have characterized in the dream space.
Ooh, this is good. Yeah. So it's a system that I came up with. We have dream types and then dream archetypes. So the thing about the dream archetypes is merrily, life is but a dream, right? We all had that nursery rhyme when we were kids. But that shit hits different to me, because I'm like, they were telling us from the beginning.
Yeah.
They told us from the beginning, life is but a dream, you know? Another one of my teachers here, he always says, life is what you dream it. Life is what you dream it. It's what you dream it to be. So when we become acquainted with our archetype, we see that we are that in this life, me sitting here talking to you now, and we are that in the astral. So I'll give you a few. So the one of the first archetypes is the warrior archetype. The warrior archetype is obviously the one, you know, busting down in the astral realm, like, boom, open up, like, we here, like,
yeah.
Like in other worlds fighting, you know, fighting people, fighting tribes, fighting bloodlines, fighting creatures who aren't even human. It's these people who have this, like, you know, the fearlessness about them. They're unafraid to go in, do the work, strap up, get the weapons, whatever needs to be done. They're the warriors of the astral.
Yeah.
Now, the way reflected in this world, and a lot of people don't see it this way, but it's the people a lot of them are the people who are thugged out in this world, but they have no association with their astral self. So they don't realize that that's their core archetype. There's nothing wrong with the world. That's just that's their key. That's their core, right? And bringing it through another lens is the fierce feminines in this. The fierce mama bears who will rip your face off if you try to do anything to their cubs.
Yeah.
So they will fight and they will defend for the honor, for the love, for the family, for the whatever. So that warrior archetype is showing up, whereas maybe in their dreams, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a healthy amount of warrior archetypes where they're always fighting and defending their kids, their family, they're fighting or defending someone in their dreams. Even if it's the same dreams over it. They're at their grandma's house and they're protecting their little sister or whatever. That's the warrior archetype. Another archetype would be, this is a good one. The tempter or the temptress archetype. So this is the people who have a lot of like very like seductive or sexual dreams, and they find themselves in different like sexual scenarios. But the reason that they're using this energy, this power, is because they're actually creating. They're actually creating from their sexual energy, and that's their archetype, the temptress. Now, in this world, because of all the man-made laws, rules, and morals, these people would be seen as like, you know, the hoes or whatever in this world, and not necessarily to a high degree, but these are the people who lead with their sexual energy. These are the people who are shaping worlds, shaping relationships, shaping reality with that temptress, draw you in with archetype.
Yeah, so the seductiveness.
With the seductiveness, exactly. Now, again, with all these things, there's still polarity in the astral. So it could be far left, it could be far right, or it could be in that center where you're like not trying to be good or bad, you just are. So all these archetypes, the center of them, they just are. Now, where you're falling on the scale of them, that's up to you to find out in balance, which, you know, we would do together. I'll share one more. One more archetype would be the magician or the seer. So this is the person who does actually a lot of remote viewing and astral travel. They're able to see and shape worlds that they've never seen before. They can travel into a space and literally see creatures and worlds and colors and frequencies that this world they could never make a movie about it. They could never say, like, they're able to see and manipulate worlds and energy in the astral. And these are the people in this life who are drawn more to, you know, metaphysics, the occult, things like that. And these are the people who have like a lot of psychic abilities, clairaudience, clairsentience, things like that. So these people who have the abilities in this waking world, they're actually creating worlds in the astral.
Wow.
Like
yeah.
Magicians in the astral, shaping it all. So yeah, there's about 8 archetypes that I have in the system. And, you know, some of them are hybrid, some of them we have tap into, but it's just like Ayurveda, like we all have a key dosha, like the main overruling archetype that we're ruled by. And then we have like subdivisions that we tap into.
Gotcha. For sure.
Yeah, those are some of the archetypes.
I love it. And it makes sense. And I, you know, based off of my dreams, I be knowing. I could totally tell, because especially when some dreams have that repetitive nature to them, when they always have this same kind of common thread, you can kind of know. And I think it's important to know so that when you are here, you can utilize that energy, balance that energy, and not be a slave to it, or, you know, or not resist it or have resentment towards it, but really embrace who you are and what you have. Really quickly, why, in your opinion, from working with the people that you've worked with, are people afraid of dreams and that's why they don't dream sometimes?
A lot of people, yeah. A lot of people. It's so crazy to me because, again, it's been a lifelong thing to me. So I'm like, you're afraid of your dreams? It's the best part of life. Like, what? So to me, it seems odd, but it's actually not. It's really common that people are afraid of their dreams. Why? Because people are not used to having that much raw power. People are used to having that much raw, unlimited, unadulterated. There's no rules. We're the adults' power. So a lot of people feel like, and a lot of women that I've worked with, they are going ham in their dreams, and they're afraid that they're evil. They're afraid that they're a bad person. They're afraid that if they explore this, they're going to discover something about themselves that they can't unsee, that they don't want to this or that. And I'm like, baby girl, if you're even having this thought, that's showing that you have a sense of wholeness and sovereignty in yourself, that you would even care. Because if you're some wicked, evil, destroyer of worlds person, you wouldn't even be reflecting this in yourself. This is like the people who are nervous that they're narcissists or have narcissistic tendencies. I'm like, just your concern alone shows that you're not where you think you are. Like, narcissist scale. So it's the same thing. It's like people are really afraid of their own raw power because we've been so subdued and densified and made to believe you have this amount of power and this amount of space. You can't really go beyond that. You can push it a little bit, but here's your restrictions. And when you get to the astral plane, and it's like balls to the walls, no restrictions, you can create, destroy, you know, whatever you want to do, you're capable of it. So a lot of people are afraid of that. And really, it's just the fear is coming from ignorance. It's because you don't know what to do with that power. If it's not harnessed, it does become destructive and chaotic. But if you harness power, it can become whatever you need it to be. and in that world.
Right.
Our ancestors knew this. Our ancient ancestors, our indigenous ancestors from this land, they knew this.
Mm-hmm.
They knew how malleable dreams were. They knew that this is why, oh my God, I wish I could, can I show you this camera? Do you see this crow outside?
Car? I can't see a car.
It was a crow. They're right outside on the balcony.
I couldn't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a crow. But and I'm talking about the ancestors.
Right.
Our ancestors knew this. They knew how malleable the astral was in the dream space. And they didn't necessarily have these terms. But this is an example I always love to use. Because they didn't have our technological problems like we have today. But if there was a drought in the land and the babies aren't eating, the elders who have the wisdom aren't eating, they're dying, what would they do? The dream walkers would go into the astral plane, collectively come together. We talk about, especially the indigenous of North, Central, South America, which is primarily what I focus on because that's my primary bloodline. So we talk about rain dances in the physical sense. Rain dances were mainly on the astral plane that they did this. So the collective dream walkers in the tribe and the community would go into the astral realm, come together and do like astral rain dances. They would grow the crops in the astral land. They would make it more lucrative. They would bring in even more crops than were there previously because they knew if we create it here, it will grow out there. They did this on a very basic level, and it's been washed out of us. We forget it, but now you're hearing me, D-Ray, and I promise you, you probably feel it inside of you that it is that it is, right?
Oh yeah. It makes all the sense to me, like 100%. And I say that on a personal level because there have been demons, thought forms, whatever that I had to deal with that I wasn't facing or that I wasn't seeing in the waking life. But when I went into the dream space, that's when I could actually see these energies and do something about it, right? That's when I was actually able to be like, okay, I see you. I know that you are a projection of my mind. Now tell me what you want. Why am I seeing you? What are you serving to teach me? What's going on here? And I was actually able to do that work there, which loosened a bind, right? That I had here in the physical.
Yes.
So when you say that, absolutely, I 100% understand that on a very deep level. And I think it's important for a lot of people to get that because y'all be thinking y'all be being spiritually attacked and it's your own damn mind.
It's your own damn mind.
It is your own mind. And so,
in your own garden. It's literally the roots of your own tree.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have one branch. It has multiple branches and multiple roots. And the roots match the branches. So you see this root, you see this fruit and this flower in your physical reality, follow it back, follow the tree back into your dream world, into your astral, get to the root of it. That's where you're going to see the seed. That's where you're going to see when it was first planted. And you're going to be like, oh shit, this is in my garden. Nobody's attacking me. Nobody's coming for me. And I'm not saying that these things don't happen.
Right.
But we need to, as the indigenous people, as the cosmic beings here, we need to remember that this is about us remembering our power and not us being on defense. This is about us turning our power up and not about protecting or defending ourselves from it's not that. It's not that. We need to get over that. That's the propaganda. Honestly, that's the propaganda of like the them versus us. What them? That's the frequency I live on. What them? You know? And that's how it goes up, it goes up, it goes up, and things unlock inside of you if you're only focused on your own power and your own knowing. If you're playing 50% on defense and 50% I am a powerful God goddess, then you're gonna tap into 50% of your power. Now, if you're 100%, if you're 100%, I am God goddess, can't touch this, then that's the frequency and that's the reality that you're going to live in the astral plane and on the physical plane. Period.
Wow, that makes sense. Because, honey, listen, I don't have to go into the astral room, and chop off some heads. Yep. I vividly remember Space and Time a couple of years ago when it was a regular thing where I'm really fighting some shit up in here, but it was making me a better person in the physical world, to where I knew that if anything came up in my reality, I had the skills to do something about it. It doesn't matter. I vividly remember pulling out a knife like I was Sekhmet in the dream space and chopping off a head. Like, I vividly remember that. And that's real. And it was proving to me, and it was showing me that I am fully equipped to deal with any adversity, any challenge that could come up in this physical world. Because if I can do it in the astral, I could do it here in this slowed down, more dense, experience. So that's a real thing that you're saying. And that's, and then something that came into my head as you were talking about, that's why I told you with the visions, you with the imagery, as you were talking about the fruit, the tree, the root. When I see the root of a tree, I'm also seeing the synapses of the brain. Right? Think about how the brain, when it's sending out these messages, it looks like a root that is just spreading out, and it's this constant communication going back and forth. So that's divine within itself and just magical.
Which is the two-way, just like I said, just like my teacher says, it's like the keys are in both worlds and we need the other to get to the other. In order to get the fruit, you need to have root somewhere.
Yeah.
In order for roots to have, be living and thriving and having a purpose, they need to be growing outward into a fruit. So it's like they both need each other on the opposite end. And that's the way we need to start looking at our dream life and this waking life. And recently I was given this vision, because you and I, we were talking about this miracle energy that we've been feeling. Miracle energy, big miracle energy. And I'm just like, I'm here for it. Like, miracles, let's go. And I've been getting little doses of what it is. What is this miracle energy pointing to? And the other day, in that in-between space, it all hit me. It all came to a head. And I was just like, it's so simple, but it's so profound. And that's how the real truths are. They're so simple, but they're so profound. And it was given to me like this. Imagine there's a vehicle and, there's a road trip. There's three beings in the car. There's a person driving, there's a person in the passenger seat, there's a person in the back seat. The person driving is your conscious mind. The person in the passenger seat is your subconscious mind. The person in the back seat is your superconscious mind, aka your soul. Your conscious mind has been on this goddamn road trip for so long, it's like delirious at this point. But it's still driving, it's still alert, making decisions, make a left, go straight, exit 3. It's making all these decisions, but it's delirious, but it's still just like, I've committed to this road trip, I'm gonna keep driving.
Deliriously.
I'm gonna keep driving, thinking I know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, I've gone this road about 3 times, but I know what I'm doing, right? Where the miracle comes in, this miracle energy that we're feeling is this, and it's so simple. The subconscious mind in the back seat, the superconscious mind in the passenger seat finally speak out. To the conscious mind, they're like, hey, babe, we got it from here. Yeah. Back seat, you could take a nap. We're going to get us to the destination. Just chill out in the back. When you wake up, we'll be here.
Yeah.
So the miracle is that simple. It's a shift of the 3 energies in the car. Rotate. So now the soul, the superconscious mind who's chilling in the backseat, like, y'all said y'all got it. So I'm gonna just chill. Your soul, your truth, your essence, who's chilling in the backseat is just like, all right, bet I'm gonna drive now. So gets out the backseat, goes into the driver's seat. Conscious mind goes back in the backseat, knocks out immediately. Subconscious mind stays in the passenger seat because it's best. It's the map maker and it's the leader of the map, right? It stays in the passenger seat as the GPS, essentially. While the soul is driving, the soul is just like, damn, conscious mind, you were driving through all this traffic. Ding, no more traffic.
Yeah.
Said, no more traffic. What are you doing? What are you doing? The subconscious mind, because it was the map maker, it knows every road, every route, every bird, every flea, every tree. It knows everything because it's always collecting.
Come on, technology. Uh-oh, are y'all still here? Hopefully Sierra comes back through. Technology likes to play, but it is okay. Y'all let me know in the chat if you are understanding this story that my sis was dropping on us. Appreciate the love, Matt Titan. Let me know if y'all get the imagery and the vision of what she is saying. Oh, she done hopped off. Overheated. Give me a second. That's how that technology do when you be coming through all strong like that. The technology tries to hate. So while we are in this moment of brief intermission, get you some water. This would have been a great time for Dream to come up here and do his comedic stuff that he always does. This would have been a great time for Dream to come up here and do what he likes to do, which would be peeping his head through the door back there, saying all types of stuff, just coming through, being funny in the chat. This would be a great time for you, Dream. This would be a great time for you. Anyways, though, I am looking forward. I'm glad that y'all are understanding the story. That's powerful, because that story is so true. And once we start living in our purpose and living from a place of connectedness with our soul, with our higher selves, arigato. Arigato means thank you in Japanese. Okay. Once you start doing that, all you have to continue saying is thank you, because you understand that doors are always open to you. Opportunities are always open to you. Where you thought there was going to be some struggle, that shit's removed. Where you thought there were going to be delays, defaults, and challenges, it is all removed. But you have to invest in yourself, and you have to discipline yourself to live the life that you know you've been called to live, right? You have to go beyond your perceived fears. Sierra's coming back in. You have to go beyond your perceived fears and do the things you know you're supposed to be doing. All of us have come here with a mission already set in place. All of us have come in here with an assignment already set in place. We come here with it. But you allow all of those childhood experiences. What's up, Sierra? We're going to wait for you to come back on. We totally were getting the story. But you guys allow, and I used to at some point in time too, allowed all of those childhood experiences, allowed all of that trauma to set in a certain level of fear within me, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being good enough, to stop me from living in my purpose. And so what our good sis Sierra was saying, who is back now, phone got overheated. I know a little bit about that. I know a lot about that, right? What we're saying is that when you let your soul, when you let that mission, when you let that deep connection to yourself, when you let that deep connection to your higher self, and the way that you do this is, one, by following your bliss, not getting stuck, not getting trapped in things that aren't serving you holistically. You do this by doing the things. There's an internal fire that is lit within you, that is pushing you and urging you and nudging you to move forward. But you let all the emotions, all of the fear, all of the trauma stop you from pursuing that internal fire. And I'm telling you, as a witness, right? As a witness to my own life and an observer of my own life. As soon as I made the commitment to invest in knowing more about that internal fire, to invest in knowing more about that bliss, about that about that good feeling that I cannot describe when I coach women, when I get on here on YouTube, when I'm talking to Sierra and other powerful women, when I decided to just follow that consistently from a place of discipline, from a place of passion, from a place of love, when I decided to just follow that, which is my sole mission, my sole purpose in this specific lifetime, when I decided to follow that, things just open up, right? Things just open up. And so that's what y'all need to be doing. So Sierra, we know you got cut off, but people were feeling that story. People were not even the story, but the visual of it, the imagery of it is so real.
Yeah.
It's so real. Like, it's what we need to hear. Because this is what we have to understand. The conscious mind is shaped by ego. Ego is shaped by trauma. Ego is shaped by survival. And sometimes your ego is telling you we're comfortable with the conscious mind driving, though we're wandering, though we may have gotten lost a couple of times, though we cannot seem to.
We don't need to stop to ask for help.
Yeah, we don't need to ask for help. Though it doesn't seem like we can manifest security, stability, passion, love. Though we can't have the things that we want, we're surviving.
Yeah. Look,
we're surviving.
Breathe out. I'm alive. It's like, nah, there can be so much more than that.
I'm alive. It's like, I'm alive. Why do I need to take the back seat? Why do I need to heal this trauma? Why do I need to deal with these triggers? Why do I need to, heal and transform? You need to heal and transform because you're only living a small portion of the life that you are capable of living. You probably living at 1 to 10% of what you can actually be living and experience.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. That whatever that percentage is that they say we know about our mind, whatever 1, 3, 5, 10%, whatever, that's
the percentage that you're living when you are a prisoner to the conscious mind, when you're a prisoner to the ego, to logic, to reasoning. That's the percentage that you're living in. So look, Sierra, so I think we got that point. We got that part down. I want to know though, tell the family why it's so important for them to travel and touch down on different lands.
Yes, let's get into that. Let's get into the dream of your ancestry, the dream of your blood. Because that's literally what I call it, you know? This dream work that I do with my clients, especially if like my long-term clients that do 4 weeks or 6 weeks. One way or another, we always end up going into the bloodline. One way or another. They could just be like, I keep having this dream about me when I was a little girl, or I keep having a dream about this mountain, or whatever it is. One way or another, we are always led back to the bloodline because we are living the dream of our bloodline. We're the living, breathing manifestation of the dream of our ancestry. Our ancestors used to dream of us. Everything that they did in this world, everything that they did in the astral was to ensure our life and our survival. So when we tap back into our bloodline, when we tap back into our ancestry, we are reshaping and connecting to our dream and the dreams that were dreamt before us, physically and in the astral. So for myself, being a lifelong nomad, as my family would call it, it hasn't been because I'm just like, let's just go explore places. Everywhere I've been in this world has been intentional. And most of the places, including where I live right now, is because I dreamt it. Because I dreamed about it, I am here living and surrounded by what I'm surrounded by because I followed it. Why? Because the dream had the wisdom, it had the information that I needed right now. So in connecting to your bloodline, in connecting to your lineage, they're going to show you where they were before you. There's a lot of people who look like myself, who look like D-Ray, who look like whatever, and they all want to think that we all came from one place. You know, they want to put an umbrella over everything. But the ancestors trying to lead you and guide you to where you were, where they were before, so that you can pick up that damn information again and get where the bloodline needs to get. But if you keep obsessing over, for example, let's say you keep obsessing over Kemet, but your bloodline has always, forever always, been in South America, Central America, North America, your ancestors are looking at you like, what? Whose information are you trying to get?
Yeah.
Who are you trying to tap into? That's not our keys. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. So this is when you keep, you live in New York, you keep going to the Colombian spot every other week. Half your homegirls from Colombia, from Peru. That's because your ancestors are like, hello, do you see that you're gravitating towards what's next to you? Or the reverse. You know, your whole family is telling you that you're Dominican, but you keep having dreams about the Giza pyramids. You keep having dreams about these ancient lands. It's like everything flip-flop in reverse, and everyone's trying to dream everyone else's dream. Yes. So it's up to us to follow those things, to put our feet and our hands on the land that is calling us, because that's what's going to unlock the memories. Yeah. And gracefully, I've been able to do this over the years, to go to these places, to meet my ancestors, to connect with them physically and etherically, right? Yeah. But beyond that, and what I'm seeing now, especially with us being in this sixth sun, which I'll get into, and being in this age of Aquarius, is that it is not about us the way I had dancing in the jungle to remember my ancestry. It's beautiful, and that was necessary on my journey. And it may be necessary on your journey if this feels right in your soul. But we're in a space right now where this is how we get there. This is how we get there. You master that internal realm, and you're like, all right, I'm going to go to the Giza pyramids today. How do I feel? What do my feet feel like on that ground? Can I walk up to it? Can I touch it? This is you becoming a master of that astral realm. Because whether you're at Machu Picchu or you're in wherever,
Chichen Itza.
Exactly. There's an energy signature there that you're able to tap into beyond the form. So visiting these places, putting your feet in the sand, on the land, your hands on the trees, breathing in the frequency in the air of these places is unlocking the dream, is unlocking your DNA, is unlocking the stories that came before you and the stories that are going to come in front of you. Because again, time is not linear. So us connecting back to our land, remembering our ancestry, our connection. Just because you're from this continent, I'm from this continent, that doesn't make us not family. What makes us family is that copper inside of us. That's what connects us. Yeah. The generator that connects us all. Right? So it's not about your statues, your pyramids, these statues, these pyramids. It's not about that. It's the energy signature that lives in the land, that your ancestors breathed, bled, sweat, cultivated those spaces. That's why it's important for us to know our sacred land. That's how it's connected to our dream. So if you can go to these places, I say dance, I say go to Nigeria, and D-Ray and I talked about this before. Go to Nigeria, eat the food, paint your face, put on the clothes, and that's going to awaken it for sure. But if for whatever reason you can't do that in your form, you need to find the mastery within to do that with your astral body. Yeah. Because this is beyond it being cool at this point. And I that for a fact, there's things being a seer that I've seen coming within the next 5 years. This is not a, what's it called? What is it called in college when the class isn't mandatory? It's like optional. It's not an extracurricular. It's, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but that like random art class that you could take just because you want to.
An elective.
An elective, there you go. It's not an elective at this point. We need to master our astral selves. We need to master our astral selves for this life, for the lives that came before us, and for the lives that came after us, for the whole cosmos at this point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just unlocking the key of the land that we came from and tapping into that energy, we're unlocking so much more, you know, tuning into so much more. So although dream is my discipline, it's my focus, I always get into the bloodline. Where are you from? And what practices did your ancestors use to access their dreams? Because it's different everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
the weren't using the same practices that the Kemites were. The even within the Americas, the Chippewa people of North America were not using the same thing as the Aztecs. So it's just like knowing your technology, knowing your ancient is what's going to open these realms for you. So that's why I always stress the lineage and knowing the land and connecting to that, because it is all connected. It really is.
That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. So stop traveling just so you can get stamps on that passport and really try to understand the spiritual aspects of it all. For me, Dream will tell you, I've always wanted to learn Spanish. Always wanted to learn Spanish. Like even when I was working in a school, the school that I was working at had majority, probably 80%, English as a second language. 80% of those kids are Spanish speakers. And so I always would ask them, how do I say, don't be late to class? How do I say, where are you going? I would always ask these kids to tell me how to say it in Spanish. I even have a Spanish English dictionary and, Duolingo. And so I always knew that the land where these different lands where Spanish is spoken is a sacred place for me. And it was so amazing when we went to the Riviera Maya back in March, because while we were there, we were treated like royalty.
Yes.
We were treated like royalty. It was so crazy how everybody was just giving to us and like people were paying for random stuff. And it was just like, Dream and I had so many experiences where we were just like, babe, are you noticing this? Like, we are being treated very well out here. You know what I mean?
Because this is the thing, especially, and I can say especially Central America. South America is it's all one continent, but each part of the land, Canada, United States, Central America, South America, have all been programmed differently by frequency. Central America, because it truly is Central America, it's the center point. So just like we talk about equilibrium, polarities, Central America is the central point. Because we also talk about, a pole shift and polarities happening and things like that. If I turn this paper this way, or I turn this paper this way, is the center not still the center?
It's still the center, yeah.
So the thing about Central America is that they have not lost their equilibrium like their counter countries, like their counterparts. So when you come to Central America, they recognize you and see you for who you are, what you are. It's not because, like I'm a young, pretty little thing that I'm treated the way that I am here, right? It's because they recognize my frequency. There's men here who are just like, they're just like, I love indigenous women. And that's literally what they say. They say, I love, me gusta indígenas. Like I love indigenous women. And it's because they remember that's the sacred power. That's where it began. So it's like, Mexico, you look like, you're beautiful, you're brown. They're just like, we know this is the original people. This is the original frequency holders. Yeah. So it's like, the corruption isn't the same here that we see it in North America or even South America, where that fairer phenotype is more praised, right?
Yeah. No, that's so real, because even when we went to the Mayan ruins, it was just, even when we went to the beach, we had the whole beach to ourselves. And it was just like everything, you could just feel the energy that this was definitely a part of our land. And y'all, what you're saying is so true, because we got to get out of the Africa. I'm going to say it. You didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. We got to get out of Africa. I love Africa. I want to visit Africa. I know I've had lifetimes in Africa. I've done hypnosis work. I've done past life regression work to where I've seen lifetimes that I've had in Africa. I love African music. I used to be, Dream will tell you, a couple of years ago, he thought it was so crazy. And this was all spiritual. This is all awakening different aspects of me. But a couple of years ago, I would be on YouTube watching these African tribal dances. And I would just be so in love and so engulfed with it. And I'd be like, babe, this is so amazing. He was just like, well, why are you looking at that? Right. I know that I spent lifetimes in Asia, which is why when I watch Mulan, there's tears coming to my eyes, because I know the wars that they are talking about is a war that I experienced in that lifetime in Asia. So when I'm watching Mulan and I'm like, why the hell am I crying profusely? It's because I'm remembering different aspects of myself, which is why Thailand is on the bucket list. Right? Africa is on the bucket list, right? Because I do know and understand these things. So it is important to understand that we are so much more than what we've been told to be based off our skin tone.
Skin tone. Come on.
It's like, crazy.
So it's just so crazy and elementary to me. Yeah. We know that the original woman was the rainbow creator, able to give birth to every shade, frequency, tone, height, length, dimension of all creation. So you're still saying color games? I mean, that to me is just
color games. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Like, you know, and if that's really the coming back to being swayed by the appearance of things. If we live solely by the appearance of things, none of this spiritual work that we're doing would matter. Right. Because we're just, well, things look, they appear this way and appear that way. What I'm saying is we need to get back to the frequency of it all.
Right.
Get back to that truth, because nothing can be hidden in the astral, whether you want to see it or you don't see it. Just like you talked about, you know, remote viewing into that boy, you didn't consciously ask to see that. You couldn't tell that by the appearance of things, but on a frequency level, you went and were guided right to the truth. Yeah. So ancestors are going to visit you in your dreams. They're going to show you lands. They're going to show you landscapes that you've never been to before.
Tell the family how you got to where you got exactly. Because I remember it was a dream that you had or something where you kept on seeing this mountain, or you kept on seeing something. Yep.
So where I am in Mexico is Oaxaca. And literally it was last year. I was still in Costa Rica, and I was like in the hallway in between dream world and waking world. So I'm in the hallway and I see it like a billboard. Meanwhile, this is not showing up anywhere. Like I'm in the jungle, like there's no advertising, like anything. And I see clear as day, I see Oaxaca, and I'm like, okay, I'm not about to get up and write this down. So I completely forget about it. I'm in the shower, I'm taking a dark shower a few days later. I think it was like a new moon or something. And the energy of Oaxaca came back again. It's like, Oaxaca. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll look into it. So I start looking into it, and I'm just like, oh, dope. It's a sovereign state. It kind of can do its own thing, like dope, whatever. So again, I keep putting it off, like ignoring it. My ancestors are like, sis, we said Oaxaca. And I'm like, okay, fine. So long story short, I'm just like, I don't know where to go. What part? It's like the way Mexico is, it's the same as the US. So it's like, I say I live in Oaxaca, that's like me saying I live in New York. Like, okay, where? What part? Like, where?
Yeah.
You know? So then finally when I'm like, okay, I'll go. Then I'm just like, okay, but I don't know like what part or where. Finally, I keep looking at maps. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I'm getting the signal wrong. So eventually I picked this random little city on the beach. And then one day at 3:00 in the morning, after I've already chosen this city, something's like, go look at your astrocartography, which is your natal chart laid across the map of the world. And you have all your planets laid across different parts of the world. So randomly, I look at my astrocartography, my sun line, which is the line of the realization of your dreams, which is the line where your most vitality and life comes into expression, is going right through Mexico. Not just Mexico, we're through Oaxaca, in the place that kept calling me, and stopping right in the city that I'm living in. So before I even knew that this was written in my birth chart, it was already calling out to me. So the birth chart was just confirmation.
Yeah.
Now I randomly find a place online. My landlord's dope, whatever. I come into the city. I'm exploring my neighborhood when I first get here. Every street around me is Sierra de whatever. My first name, Sierra de Juarez, Sierra de Guadalupe, Sierra de whatever. Like every street surrounding me is my first name, de something. Number one. Number two, I was named after the Sierra Nevada mountains. Like that's what my parents named me after. Where I'm living right now is on the water in front of the Sierra Madre mountains. And starting last year, and especially heightening early this year, I knew that I was going through an initiation, moving from maiden into mother, moving from that childlike, innocent energy into the mother, the warrior, the nurturer energy. So my ancestors were coming. They're just like, we need to move you from the child mountain, which the Sierra Nevada is, a smaller mountain compared to the Sierra Madres, which go all the way to Spain as well. So literally I was moved from the mountains that I was named after when I was the maiden into the mother mountain, Sierra Madre del Sur, the mother Sierra mountains of the south. So literally moved from where I was deeper into my roots, deeper into my beingness, deeper into the self, into the core of who I am. So when I tell you that your dreams are not just dreams, random things, they are taking every bit of information about you from a subconscious level to a soul level and trying to place you and put you in position for where you need to be. And now one of my shamans, one of my teachers that I'm working with here, who's in the Toltec, the Nahuatl tradition, is teaching me the, origins of the, the people who were originally in this land. And the original people of this land were the Olmecs. So we have to study the Olmecs and things like this. They're here. They're here. This knowledge is here. We're from here, So the original meaning of Mexico has two meanings. Number one, the land of the dreamers. Am I not here building a whole dream empire or like what's happening? So I was moved from where I was to the land of the dreamers. Number two, the second meaning of the name is moon at the navel. So I was moved onto my sun line to further deepen my practice of dreams, my wisdom of dreams, and tune into my navel, my creative energy, that creative force. So it's just like we were talking about earlier, the master puzzle maker. Like whole life, it's puzzles and it's mastery, and it's like if we follow it, we're gonna be just blown away by what's gonna happen. Everything is perfect by design. Everything is perfectly lined up, and it's like you're always being led back closer to you if you just follow it. This was happening, this made no sense to anyone around me. They're like, you have your place in Costa Rica, like everything's good, you're doing this, you're doing that, like why are you just gonna pick up and go to Mexico now? And I'm like, because I have to.
Right.
So if that's happening inside of you, follow it. It's necessary.
Wow, I think that's a great place for us to wrap up because I love that. Like now I'm going to go find, you said astrocartography, like how I need to find that. Like thank you so much for sharing all of that wisdom with us, for sharing all of that love with us. I
Absolutely.
mean, just so powerful and just so, I mean, we got a lot. We got a lot to think about and to resonate with. And I'm just so grateful to have you a part of my Sacred Sister Circle.
Yes.
I'm so grateful to have you a part of it. And before we get out of here, let's one more time in the chat so that no one is confused about where to find my good sis at. Oh, you put your name in there. So all of y'all, excuse me, I need y'all to click Medicine of Dreams. She just typed in the chat. Looks like she's typing in the chat some more. Um, go and make sure that y'all subscribe to my girl's channel. Make sure that you go follow her on Instagram. Make sure that y'all do that because, I mean, we just got to show love to the people who are showing love to us. And I know for a fact that a lot of y'all be, wondering about your dreams, which is why you also need to get the dream supplement. Make sure that you are already subscribed to Dreams email list so that you know exactly when we are dropping the dream supplement again. And we're going to be having more conversations like this. I think I want to try to do it twice a month. So if I've ever coached you or consulted with you or anything like that, Sierra, did you put your Instagram name in there again?
Yeah, I'll put it all here.
Yeah, put it in there again. So if we've ever worked together, I'm gonna want you to, because I think all of the women that I talk to, they're ready to express themselves. There may be some fear there, and that's why we're working through it. But I'm gonna hold you accountable to your self-expression because you owe it to yourself, sis. And we need to hear from you. Just like, I mean, I'm so excited. I mean, just about everything that we talked about, Sierra. Like, you came with some hot fire. Okay. Yeah, fuego. Yeah, you came with that fire. And so, I mean, I just loved it. And I know we're going to do this again because there's so much more that we
So
could go
much
in.
more.
So much more. So I just love it. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking me up on my offer. Thank you so much for being the good sis. Y'all don't know. Me and Sierra have cried tears. Why am I crying? And I'm supposed to be the coach. But no. Sis was tapping in. We were tapping in with each other during those coaching sessions. It was so beautiful. And so I just appreciate you so much. And I want to do my part to support you as much as I possibly can. If y'all didn't see the show that Iman and I did back, maybe, I don't even know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or so, Iman and I did a build on Instagram where we had a conversation similar to this. It was a Sacred Sister talk, but we talked about motherhood, we talked about purpose, we talked about relationships. And so for each of my goddesses, each of my sisters out there, I'm going to talk to you about what you do.
Yes.
So I'm so glad to get to introduce y'all to my good sis, Sierra. And if y'all are on Patreon, Sierra is open to the dream questions, okay? If you are on Patreon and you're in the Geneva app, which will mean you would need to be on the $8 tier on Patreon, get over there, right? Because sis will answer a question for you about your dream. She will.
Resident Dreamweaver, yes.
The resident Dreamweaver for us. So I love it. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. And we will catch y'all on the flip side. Let me see if I know what I'm